On the battlefields of World War II, every soldier knew one brutal truth. If you were wounded, there was no guarantee you'd ever see a hospital. Evacuation took time. Medics were stretched thin. And in many places the fighting was so intense that the wounded simply had to rely on whoever was close. In those desperate moments, the biggest killer wasn't shock or infection, it was blood loss. A soldier could be alive one minute and fading the next, and survival depended entirely on how quickly the bleeding could be stopped. This reality forced ordinary troops to become first responders under gunfire, in mud, snow, or jungle. Soldiers had to act instantly with whatever they carried on their belts or in their pockets, and among the many improvised methods and official procedures, one simple battlefield trick saved thousands of lives yet is rarely talked about today. It required no advanced equipment, no special training, and almost no time. Just speed and sulfur powder. Every Allied soldier was issued a small tin or packet of this early antibiotic. When a man was wounded, his comrades didn't wait for medical expertise. They tore open the packet and poured the sulfur powder directly into the wound, in action that seems harsh by today's standards but proved extraordinarily effective. It helped the blood begin to clot, slowed the bleeding, and drastically reduced the chance of infection. In a war where a wound could become deadly within hours, that little tin was a miracle in your pocket. Then came the field dressing. Every soldier carried one Astera, pad-wrapped tightly with gauze. Once the powder was in place, the dressing was pressed onto the wound with as much force as needed. Soldiers didn't just wrap it, they held it, leaned into it, tied it down with belts, rifle slings, strips of uniform, anything that kept pressure constant. On the front lines, pressure wasn't gentle, it was survival. What made this method so powerful was its speed. A trained soldier could pour sulfur powder and apply a dressing in under a minute. That minute often meant the difference between the wounded man making it to a medic or not making it at all. Even medics themselves later admitted that early, immediate pressure by regular troops saved more lives than any advanced treatment they could perform minutes or hours later. Of course, not everything went according to plan. Sometimes the sulfur tins were lost, damaged, or simply used up. In those moments, soldiers could only rely on their instincts and whatever clean material they had. They pressed down with bandages, shirts, or strips of canvas. In freezing climates like the Ardennes or the Eastern Front, men sometimes packed snow against a wound briefly to slow the blood flow before applying pressure. It wasn't ideal, but when every second counts, even imperfect solutions can save a life. The philosophy was simple: act immediately, use what you have, and never let up on the pressure. And it worked. Thousands survived because a friend refused to let them bleed out before help arrived. Modern medicine has evolved, but the lesson remains unchanged. Today, sulfur powder has been replaced by far more advanced clotting agents products, like QuickClot and Silox-using compounds that accelerate clotting in seconds. These are used by militaries, law enforcement, wilderness medics, and first responders around the world. But the foundation is exactly the same as it was in 1943. Apply the clotting agent, press firmly, and keep pressing until professionals take over. For anyone living off-grid, hiking, camping, or preparing for emergencies, this old wartime wisdom is invaluable. A modern first aid kit isn't complete without a clotting powder or impregnated bandage, sterile pads, and something capable of holding strong pressure. And even if you don't have them, knowing how to act, how to stay calm, how to apply pressure without removing dressings, how to keep the wounded person conscious and stable can save a life before help arrives. The forgotten World War II hack of sulfur plus pressure was far more than a medical trick. It represented a mindset: don't hesitate, don't wait for perfect conditions, don't rely on someone else. Act now with whatever you have. Thousands of soldiers survived because their friends understood that principle. For history enthusiasts, it's a powerful reminder of how creative and determined battlefield medicine had to be. For survivalists, it's a direct lesson from the past, still relevant, still practical, and still capable of saving lives today. A single packet, a dressing, and the will to use them correctly could be the difference between life and death. If you value history that teaches real survival skills, keep exploring these forgotten lessons with us, and share this with someone who takes preparedness and the past seriously.